Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome back. So today I just get straight into it with talking about, for those of you who, with everything that's happening, your psychic abilities and intuitive abilities are starting to open up, and you might be finding some funny things are happening that have never happened before, and that's okay. Okay, so it's just saying you're not alone, and baby steps, all right? Because otherwise you might get a bit frightened off or not sure how to deal with that. So I've told you I did a video about my spiritual awakening when I was 27, and I actually did have myself. It was very quick for me, so I started to see spirit, and I had things happen where I would see scenes playing out in someone else's home. And this was all a bit of a shock to the system. So there's all the different clairs. So there's not just clairvoyancy. So clairvoyancy is seeing, projections sort of running, or sort of visions, dreams that you might have that come to fruition. But it's also lots of other things too. Some people use scent, some people use touch, clairtangency, where they can hold your wedding ring or something, or a piece of, you've seen that before, where a reader will hold someone item of clothing or something and be able to pick up on energy from that. Clairaudience, which I personally love. I love to receive channel through that way. Now, in saying that, we all channel all the time, especially when you're doing conscious creating and pastimes, and you're in the middle of that. That's why you tune out, and it becomes a meditative state. So it's just learning to listen. But anyway, so I did start to have these visions, and it was all very new to me. So there was an instance one night I was asleep, and I woke up, and here's two men standing at the end of my bed, sort of, work boots, and it was like they were standing right there. And I remember closing my eyes and and then I waited, and they were gone. But I remember saying no. So I consciously asked not to. I wasn't ready for that. And seeing into someone's home and things playing out, I wasn't comfortable with that either. And I remember saying, I didn't ask to see that. But remember this with universe, when you don't think you consciously ask for something, ask and you will receive. But when you say, I wonder what's going on over there, I wonder what's going on in that house, they're going to show you. If those channels have opened, you might see. So it is good to know what you're ready for and know what you don't want to see, and you can communicate that to them, because they'll only give you what you can handle, or your higher self will only give you what you can handle. And I've always liked the clairaudience. So I'm getting, now I see, I've always seen spirit in light form and angels in light form and that sort of thing. And yes, it depends. I don't like seeing anything that I shouldn't, or if that makes sense. So you can do that. You can communicate. So if you do start seeing visions or things that aren't comfortable with, the other thing with spirit too, there's a lot of spirits everywhere for a start. But there's so much going on here on the physical plane, with people that are actually here and living. We don't really want to get too tangled up with the spirit world in the way of, you hear people hocus pocus, they talk about the spirit in my house. Yeah, but it can't exist if you don't give it energy. And the more energy you give to that, the more it'll exist, okay? I would be personally focusing on the ones that are here in the living, because that's where you're at, okay? So, and connecting, there's a lot of, connect with other spirits, and connecting with the angelic realms and your higher self is the key, okay? Past loved ones, yes, that's nice. But they're always with you anyway. And you can do that in other ways too. And I've talked about this before. If you just feel like you'd like to know if someone you loved has passed over and they're around, you can use media to do it. You can ask, if you're going to be somewhere or if you're here with me now, sometime this morning, play that song on the radio and say the song and see what happens. It's an interesting thing to do, and it's a nice little confirmation for you as well. But I just wanted to bring this up because a lot of people are starting to have they're awakening. So this is normal. This is going to happen. And not to get frightened or shut it all down. You can just say, look, I'd like to tone that down. I don't want to. And remember, whatever you ask for, even if you think you haven't asked, you'll get. So, yeah, there's that aspect. And always using energy for the higher good. Never doing anything, manipulating energy or trying to harm others, or that's not for the higher good. Okay, because that'll bounce back. Okay, so remember that one. The other thing I wanted to bring up today is creative energy, creative pastimes. And we talk a lot about creativity on this channel because it's what can take you into a meditative state. And when you do your creative pastimes, conscious creative pastimes, no matter what it is, you're channeling your higher self. And through those pastimes, we learn that when we put thought and time into what we're creating, it works. And the more we do it, the better the result. So I was doing pottery the last few weekends and I've been loving it. But I go into this, I said, I feel so antisocial and I feel bad. Sorry, ladies, because I'm really, and they're not worried because they're the same. They're thinking about every little bit they're going to put it so it looks as good as they can make it while they're learning. It's the same when you do anything. A builder is going to think about what sort of timber to use, where to put the nails and the screw, because if they put them in the wrong place, it's all going to fall over. Well, it's the same premise with life. So when it's applying those principles to our everyday life. So, it's when we have a thought and we know that thought is toxic or negative and it could make in time everything fall over. What are we going to do? We're going to and not to say, oh, I've had a bad thought, everything. No, because whatever you believe is very powerful too. It's about saying, okay, I pull that back in and change it to a positive thought. So turning it around and saying the opposite in positive. So, for example, if you said, oh, I'm so sick of this person, they do this and that, instead of saying, oh, they're really nice, even though they do this. No, leave all that out. So they're just, in this dimension, they're just a lovely, wonderful, kind person. They are really nice people. And they'll either change and become that, or they won't be they'll disappear in a not too long a time, actually. So whatever you say and believe will be. So it's applying those things we learn and that's why I say do as much creativity as you can within people, go to work, but the big picture is your life creation, and it's applying those principles we learn in creative pastimes and hobbies that we can then learn to place into our life. And it's an ongoing thing every day for us all. We've all got to keep doing it. So I just wanted to bring that up as well. And I hope you're all well. I wonder if you've been seeing any animals around giving you messages. That's getting more intense. And in your meditations, if you do ask to connect with the animal kingdom, you can say particular animals that you want to, because that animal might help with psychic ability, that animal might help, another one might help with intuitive abilities, or just eating better, or whatever it is you're wanting to improve in your life. You can look up and see which animal helps for that. And now with Google, it's so easy. You could type in, okay, what animal would help me with this or that? And you can do this with the angels as well. And you might start seeing that animal around. I had 4 ducklings walk past here. We've got a hedge, and they were the most beautiful. And I ran to get the phone because I wanted to show you, and they went under the hedge. I think they're living under the hedge. I don't know, but I don't know where they've come from. Well, they might have just vanished. Who knows? But they were beautiful little brown ducklings. And they're all about, seizing opportunity, but keep moving, keep plodding along, keep going, and that's what life is all about, isn't it? One foot after the other. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I love you all. I hope you're all having a wonderful week, and keep looking for the good everywhere. Okay, I love you, and I'll talk to you again very soon. See ya.